So in this quick lesson, we'll be taking a look at the environment rollout under the V-Ray tab. If I open up the frame buffer and run an IPR session, this is the current render that we have. There is no light in the scene. We only have an HDRI image in the environment slot. If I open up the environment and effects window, and in the material editor, this is the HDRI that we are using. You notice its multiplier is set to 28, which results in this well-exposed render. As we learned before, it's always better to use V-Ray Dome Light as it has the adaptive dome function, but environment rollout can give you a bit more creative range. We also know when you have a dome light, the environment slot in the environment and effects window will be ignored. If you make the dome light invisible in its options, the dome light will affect the lighting, but the map defined in the environment slot will be visible in the background without affecting the lighting. Let's open up the render settings and go to the environment rollout under the V-Ray tab. And here you can override the 3dsmax's environment for global illumination, reflection, refraction, and secondary matte environment. So if I enable GI environment override, you can define a color to be used in the environment for global illumination calculations. Using this multiplier, you can multiply the color value. Let's set it to 28 like our HDRI map that was in the environment slot. Or instead, you can define another HDRI or any other map instead of a color. We have the same set of settings for reflection, refraction, and secondary matte environment. You can see we have this reflection, refraction environment and a separate refraction environment. Right now, if I enable reflection, refraction environment, the color or texture defined here will be used for both reflection and refraction rays, which is normally what you want. But if you want to have two separate environment overrides for reflection and refraction rays, simply enable refraction environment down here. And now the reflection refraction environment section will only be used for reflection rays, and refraction environment will be used specifically for refraction rays. And we also have the secondary matte environment. This group allows you to control the appearance of matte objects in reflections and refractions. We talk about matte objects later in the shading section of the course. For the GI environment override, let's use a pure red color with the value of 150. For the reflection environment color, first let's increase the multiplier to 28, like our original HDRI, and use a pure green with the value of 150. And for the refraction, set the multiplier to 28 and use a blue color with the value of 150. Now what's happening here is that the GI rays do not see the HDRI map defined in the environment slot, but they see a red color as the environment like a skylight. And if I go to the global illumination pass, you can see how the red environment that the GI rays see affecting the global illumination calculations. And the reflection rays are seeing a green environment instead of the HDRI map defined in the 3dsmax's environment slot. And if I go to the reflection pass, this would be even more obvious. And the refraction rays are seeing a blue environment instead of the HDRI map defined in the 3dsmax's environment slot. And this is visible in the refraction pass. If I open up the material editor, I have these three HDRIs that I want to use instead of the simple colors. For the GI environment, let's use this first HDRI. For the reflection environment, use this second HDRI. And for refraction, use this third one. Now, if I go through different passes, it becomes obvious that different rays are using different HDRIs. Our camera rays see the HDRI map defined in the environment slot, and the rest of the ray types see their respective defined HDRIs. Okay, in this lesson, we learned about environment rollout under the V-Ray tab. See you in the next one.